Welcome, Golden Flashes fans. It's another episode of Flash Talk. Dan Griffin with you here. We are joined with the defensive specialist, or libero, if you will, Erin Gardner. And Erin, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule for joining us here today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Now, for those of you that may not be familiar with the DS or the libero, Erin, kind of fill us in. You're the one wearing the opposite jersey as your teammates, and
Correct.
you're basically in there, just like the name says, to serve as kind of the defensive captain. Your only offense is really your serve, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I only play the back row for the middles, so
Very cool. And the libero doesn't count as doesn't count as a sub for you guys
correct.
during a set. So you can come and go as you please, basically.
Yes.
Okay, very cool. Well, congratulations. A big 2-0 week. Central Michigan came in highly touted, one of the favorites in the Mid-American Conference. And not only do you sweep them, but you take 6 of 7 sets. That had to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was an awesome weekend. A great team win for sure.
Well, you guys got a little bit of a delayed start, thanks to for obvious reasons, and then another delayed start to even get 2021 off the ground. Just how big of a relief was it to play somebody not wearing a Kent State jersey?
It honestly was like the greatest feeling. Like we hadn't played a game and it was like 400 something days. So we've been playing against ourselves for over a year now. And just to like get the chance to play somebody else, like even though like we have to wear masks and there's no fans, just like it was just awesome.
Now, talk to us a little bit about that, because to me, everybody's wearing masks everywhere.
Mhm.
Usually, there's a few exceptions. Exercise is usually largely one of them, but not for the MAC and not for volleyball this season. So, talk to us a little bit about, did that take a lot of getting used to in the off season, or is it just that's just one more thing that we're going to deal with? Let's get out there and play.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we all kind of, I mean, there's nothing we can do to change it. So we all basically kind of just were like, you know, wait, this is what we have to do in order to be able to play. So we kind of just roll with the punches.
Have you noticed much of a difference?
Not really. I mean, at first it was like kind of annoying, just like having to like worry about keeping it over my nose. But now it's, I kind of really don't even realize that it's there.
Well, very cool. Obviously, let's talk a little bit about the last weekend's sweep of the chips. Uh,
Sure.
you were all over the place. I mean, you kind of really limited what they were able to do on their serve. Now, you're obviously calling out the defense for the serve and trying to turn their serve into your own kind of offense. So kind of talk to us a little bit about that strategy, what you guys were able to do, because it really kind of limited what they were able to do and really kind of controlled the pace of those parts of the matches.
Yeah, our game plan going in was we knew they were really strong like on the pin, so like their outsides and their right side. So we are kind of funneling the ball cross court because that they have less power going cross court. So and that's where we're really good at digging cross court. So that was like our game plan kind of going in. And we just executed it really well. I mean, we can have the best game plan going in, and if we don't execute our side, it doesn't really matter. And that's like kind of our theme for this season. It's just like regardless of what's going on, kind of focus on us and like what we can control. And I think we did a really great job of doing that.
Well, did the strategy change a ton from game one into match one into match two? Because it's not often you're playing a team back to back nights unless you're in one of these non conference tournaments that didn't happen this year. So, seeing the same opponent back to back days, is that second game, that second match, does that strategy change a little bit, or is it again more, let's just go out and execute the game plan?
It was tweaked a little bit based on some things that they did well, but there was no really like drastic changes in our game plan. It was pretty much the same.
Now, on your offensive side, you have been a kind of a serving specialist. You led the team last year in aces. What's your overall goal when you step behind that serving line? Are you one that singles out somebody that may not be the best at serve receive? Are you trying to get the ball to dip? What's kind of your mentality when you get back there to kind of kickstart the offense?
Yeah, so Casey, our assistant, she'll give us like zones to serve at, which is like a different area on the court basically, or a person. She'll give us like a different zone. And my job is basically just to go back there and be as aggressive as I can while still maintaining control, not giving away a lot of points. But basically just trying to get them out of system.
Now, I've talked to a number of coaches, and I guess it really kind of depends the makeup of your team. Um, what do you guys feel more comfortable at? Do you feel more comfortable when you're serving and trying to set the tempo that way, or receiving the serve and let your initial defense kind of dictate that point?
Um, I don't know. I feel like this year our defense is a lot more coordinated, like between blocking and back row defenders. So I feel like we're pretty comfortable with our defense. So yeah.
Now, you mentioned it earlier, 400 some odd days between the end of last season, the start of this season. So that's a whole lot of, like you said, inter squad scrimmages. Did that help you guys at all? Could you kind of even know your teammates' tendencies that much more just based on that repetition? Like, to me, it's dig, set, spike. So you and Alex have got to be on point with one another. Did those
Right.
countless and what seemed probably infinite reps kind of help you as you now start to see other competition?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and especially like knowing each other's tendencies, we get really good at like defending each other's tendencies. So it forces our offense to like switch up their shots. And I think that made us better overall because obviously like we couldn't do the same thing over and over again to Central Michigan or else that wouldn't have worked.
Sure. Now, kind of looking forward, we got Buffalo this weekend before the new home opener next weekend.
Yep.
In a wagon wheel point on the line against Akron. Um, just kind of go through your guys' preparation for new opponents each week. I know it's got to be a little bit different given team meetings are probably
Yeah.
often frowned upon and meeting in large groups and things like that. So how are you guys getting ready for each opponent each week?
We well, we've obviously had practice this week, staying focused. We talked a little bit about what Buffalo kind of does that's different from Central. They have two lefties, which is something you don't see very much. So we've kind of been preparing for that. And then we'll probably do some film today and tomorrow. And we usually do those meetings via Zoom just because there are so many of us.
So take us back kind of through what had to be a very interesting spring and summer for you and student athletes across the nation. How were you able to stay sharp in a game where it relies on communication and working with others? How were you able just to do solo drills to stay focused and just kind of keep your mind right and keep everything as normal as possible?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what you can do with a ball and a wall. Just against my garage door or like my house sometimes. But I was actually fortunate enough to play in a beach tournament over the summer with my sister. So I did get some sort of live play. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it.
But in a beach setting, is that 2-on-2?
Yeah, it was a doubles tournament.
How'd you guys do?
We won. So yeah.
Very cool. Congratulations.
Yep.
That's awesome. It
Thanks.
helps when you're a, Division One volleyball player. Does your sister obviously did she play? Does she play as well?
Yeah, she's younger than me. She's in high school right now. She's in her senior year. She wants to play volleyball in college. She's just not committed yet. So
Very cool.
hopefully soon. Yeah.
Well, you're not too far from. You didn't grow up too far from Kent State. Maybe about an hour or so in Avon. So, uh, talk to us a little bit about the process as to why Kent State over some of the other schools that were probably looking at you as a libero.
Sure. As soon as I stepped on Kent State's campus, I really like enjoyed the atmosphere. I think it's really welcoming here. And obviously, I liked what Don had preached about his goals for the program and like where he wants to take it. I've always been fortunate enough to be a part of winning teams, and I think that's something that you can't just like develop overnight. I think it's like a learning experience for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I love it here. I like that all the schools are close and my family can come and watch like before COVID. So yeah.
It will take us kind of away from the you versus the garage door. What else did you got to do to keep your mind right during quarantine? Are you a person that binges Netflix? Are you a music reading? What kind of what kept your summer and the off season as normal as possible for you? How'd you unwind?
I don't know. I worked out every day. I like to work out. It's kind of how I unwind, like de-stress. I think it's like a good way to de-stress. But yeah, I also binge watched a lot of Netflix too. I watched all 9 seasons of The Office, and some other shows on Netflix too. But
That seems to be the popular go-to is just
yeah,
when in doubt, Netflix is there with its millions of choices.
yep.
Um, Now you've changed majors. You're now a business major here at Kent State. Uh, what are some of the plans? What do you have as an end goal when volleyball is done?
I really like the area of project management. So ideally, that would be kind of what I want to get into. I actually have an internship with Sherwin-Williams this summer. That's a management and sales internship, so I'll get to see like both sides. Um, but yeah, just kind of see where that takes me. I don't really have any like set plans per se that like I want to stay in Ohio or I want to leave Ohio. It just kind of depends like where my opportunities take me.
Very cool. Project management, obviously, a good degree with Kent State. Project management gives you uh, endless opportunities. So good luck with that. And I
For
think that
sure.
the internship for sure will kind of answer a lot of questions for you as to whether or not this is something you want to
Definitely.
pursue professionally. Well, best of luck,
Yeah, thank
Aaron.
you.
We've got Buffalo this weekend, and then we've got Akron at home inside the development center. One last question for you. How do you like the development center? Do you think that's going to be a good kind of home court for you? I know it's a little bit different from the MAC, but just kind of talk to us a little bit about that setting where we'll be we'll be broadcasting live from next Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, sure. I think it's a great home court. We've been practicing there since a year ago last spring before we got shut down. So that's kind of the only gym we know right now. So I think it won't be any different than if we were to like play in the MAC.
Well, very cool. It is a wonderful facility, and like we
For
said, we will
sure.
showcase it next Thursday and Friday when we host Akron. But Buffalo is the team in front of us here this week. So, Aaron, best of luck against the Bulls. Hopefully, we're talking to one of your teammates about a 4-0 start to the season.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us, and again, best of luck here this season.
Thank you for having me.